Hey everyone, I'm Trevor, and today we're back at Disneyland to have another Let's Chat video. This time, what about? Well, Disney FOMO and the Disney Blues. You know what I'm talking about, so let's get going. And of course, we're gonna go to my favorite little chat spot right here because no one ever comes over this way. I am also trialing a new microphone today, so hopefully it sounds great. It is a Joby wireless mic. We'll see how it goes. I've never really used a wireless mic. My last attempt didn't go so well, so hopefully this one is sounding fine. But let's talk about some Disney FOMO, Disney Blues. What brought on this topic to begin with? Well, I just hit 60 days on my Walt Disney World vacation last Sunday, March 17th. That means we had to book our advanced dining reservations. When we go to Walt Disney World, we have a sit-down table service meal every single day that we're there. It's just something that we love to do. The reason I go to Disney is for the food. If you haven't figured that out by watching my channel yet, I love Disney food. And you know what, I mean, we come to Disneyland all the time, so the rides are kind of secondary. I mean, there's some things that I really want to do, like Cosmic Rewind. I love me some Cosmic Rewind at Epcot. So looking forward to taking my family on that one. But the food is what I love the most. So we booked our advanced dining reservations, and now I'm kind of in that, is it time yet? Is it time yet? Are we there yet? You know? You remember that old commercial where the two little kids are packing and they're getting ready to go to Walt Disney World, and then at the end they're like, we leave in 3 weeks.
Larry, it's like no place you've ever been in your whole life. The first thing you gotta remember about Disney World is to pace yourself. Now this is a mistake that a lot of first-timers make. They've got all these unbelievable rides and cool stuff to do. If you try to do it all at once, you'll be sleeping like a baby by lunchtime. Number 2, don't eat right before you go on Mr. Toad's wild ride. Number 3, Goofy is huge. I know he's only this big on TV, but in real life, Goofy could beat up Dad. Well, I guess that's all the important stuff. You're gonna love this place, Larry. It really brings out the kid in you.
There's never been a better time to make the dream come true.
We'll be leaving in about 3 weeks.
You know, the whole time you think they're leaving tomorrow or today, and then they find out they're just so excited they're packing and they're leaving in 3 weeks. That's me all day long, and I am so excited to go. Today is 51 days. I am counting it down, and every day is like excruciatingly going by slow. I'm watching YouTube videos. I'm trying to, see what other people do on their trips. There may be something we can do differently on this trip. We're checking food reviews for the places that we already booked because, one of them we're kind of like, I don't know about. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But we're watching all these YouTube videos, and I'm like, I really want to go now. Why can't we leave now? But then the flip side is also true, and that's on the other side of it. When the trip comes, the trip is real quick, and then all of a sudden, your trip is over, right? And I was making sure the microphone was on. Like a temporary moment, like, I hope the microphone's on. But the trip is over, and then you're leaving, and then isn't that like the worst feeling ever? Oh no, leaving day. You see all the people just arriving when you're leaving, and suddenly it's like, I wish that it was me just arriving. Oh, it's me leaving. You're sitting, you're waiting for the bus back to the airport or something like that. And it's just, I don't know, it's a little depressing. And so I wanted to talk about the Disney Blues. I wanted to maybe figure out what you guys do to avoid the FOMO or avoid the Disney Blues. What are some things? So I put it to a question on community post, as we are wont to do, to get your opinions, get your thoughts on things like that. And I wrote a bunch of them down, and we're just going to talk about some of those ideas and some of those things, specifically when you're dealing with this concept. Not quite so sunny anymore. The first response, and probably maybe the most obvious one, is, well, just to book another trip, of course. you know, that makes total sense, right? Just go ahead and get another trip on the books. And usually that's what I do. When we go to Walt Disney World, we book our trips a whole year in advance. So when we get back from our trip in May, the first thing that we're gonna be doing is planning next year's trip. However, we're not going to Walt Disney World. We're going to a different Disney park we've never been to before. We are, I think for next year, 2025, we're gonna go to Disneyland Paris. Yes, Amy has family that lives in England, and we haven't been to see them since 2018. So it's a great opportunity that when you're in England to just hop on a quick flight or take the Channel over to France and then go to Disneyland Paris, right? Seems like the perfect opportunity to do so. So we're gonna go to Disneyland Paris because we know nothing about Disneyland Paris. We're gonna have to do lots of research, and that research is definitely gonna start the moment we get back from our trip. So I think that is gonna help me a lot this time to deal with the Disney blues, to have something else to look forward to have something else to be planning, to be preparing for, a lot of the research, a lot of new discovery that's gonna go on with this. And so that is definitely gonna be a huge way to help get rid of the Disney FOMO. Now, one of Amy's favorite things to do to deal with the post-Disney depression, PDD, or the Disney blues, whatever you want to call them, is to make copycat recipes at home. Now, a long time ago, we bought a Disney unofficial cookbook that somebody just put together. It's like a ton of copycat recipes. And in there, one of them is the Cheshire Cat tail, which is my favorite of the things that she has tried to make. And the Cheshire Cat tail is an item that's available at Magic Kingdom, so it's going to be great for coming back from Walt Disney World. I think we're actually going to avoid getting the Cheshire Cat tail this time too, because there's so many other good sweets and treats and snacks that I want to get that I have to feel like, you know, some of these snacks that I've gotten time and time again, it's time to put those aside, especially since I know that Amy makes a really mean Cheshire Cat tail herself. So maybe when we get back from the trip, she'll make some Cheshire Cat tails, and I'll post a picture on our community posts and things like that. You can be maybe looking out for that. Let me know down in the comments if you want to see Amy's Cheshire Cat tails. And speaking of this whole idea about like eating snacks that you like, but you want to try some other things, this is also sort of what we've been going on with this trip. Well, let's eat at some restaurants that we haven't eaten at before, right? And one of them that we've been eyeing up for a while is San Angel Inn. And that is the restaurant that is located inside the Mexico Pavilion. And it's kind of like Blue Bayou, right? It's dark, there's a boat that goes by, very nice ambiance. And we heard a long time ago from a particular Disney YouTuber news person that San Angel was terrible. Now, that person's a bit of a snob when it comes to food, so we thought, you know, maybe we would like it, because he also thought that Nine Dragons was awful, and we went to Nine Dragons and we loved it. So we booked San Angel Inn, but then we just decided, you know, well, we're close enough to our trip, let's just start watching some YouTube videos, and San Angel was one of those that we watched. And the person that we usually like this person in their food opinions said that the food was terrible. And then we watched another one and the food was terrible. And we watched another one and the food was terrible. And we're like, we really wanted to try this place. We really like the ambiance and the atmosphere, but it's our vacation. Do we really want to spend our vacation eating food that's going to be awful? Or should we go back to a place that we know we love in order to get some good food? And you know what? That thought won out, and we decided to go back to Chefs de France. Now, we have not been to Chefs de France since 2014, so it's been 10 years. But we watched a couple of videos on Chefs de France, and universally, they're like, this is one of the best restaurants at Epcot. And I remember that being the case, so I'm so excited to be going back to Chefs de France. Sad we're not going to go to San Angel Inn, but it is what it is. So whenever you're coming to Disney, when you're planning a Disneyland trip, you know, maybe you want to try some new foods, but at the same time, just remember that if you like something, you like it for a reason, and maybe you better get that Mickey bar instead of the experimental treat. Unless, of course, you know you're going to love it, like you saw our review of the cheesy garlic pretzel bread, and you say, I love cheese, I love garlic, I love pretzels, and I love bread. What is not to like? Go ahead and give that delicious morsel a try. But yeah, life's too short to waste time and money on things you know you're probably not gonna like just because you want to try something new. So that's my little 2 cents, my thoughts on that. Another person's response online was, well, just moved closer to Disney. And you know, that's a legitimate thought when it comes to Orlando specifically. Now here, you know, we've thought about moving closer to Anaheim. Remember, we live in San Diego. It is about a 90-minute drive for us to get up here, 90 minutes to get back, and that's without traffic. So you add traffic into the mix, and sometimes it's taken us 2 hours, 2.5 hours to get home with traffic. So yeah, it is a bit it is a bit of a concern. I'd love to live closer. It's more expensive up here. Our life is in San Diego, so this is about as close as we are going to get. But somebody that lives in maybe Utah, like Chris Provost, I know that they initially moved back to Utah when they were just getting started, and now their life is in Utah. So Chris does what he does and comes out here as often as he can. But you know, if you wanted to move closer to Disneyland, Utah is a little far away. I know a lot of our viewers are, you know, in Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, Oregon, Washington, Canada. And so if you can and you want to and you love Disney that much, yeah, move a little closer. I know that for going to Orlando, there is a huge community around people that move to Florida to be closer to Disney. And we thought about doing it at one point too, because, well, Florida is a tad cheaper. I say a tad because it's still Orlando, and but it's not as expensive. Like San Diego is becoming one of the most expensive places to live in the country. And I feel like in the top 10 cities for most expensive place to live, like 7 of them are in California. So Florida definitely would be a tad cheaper for us. But, you know, we're fine where we are. We love where we live. But I understand, you know, other people that want to move to Orlando to be closer to Walt Disney World. I don't know if there's such a community for the Disneyland side of things, but I know definitely a big community for Orlando. Now let's talk about the FOMO side of things. What does FOMO stand for, by the way? Fear of missing out. Fear of missing out. You watch YouTube videos, you're seeing all these food reviews, you're seeing all these things that people do, and you're like, oh, I want to do that. Oh, I want to do that. I want to do that right now. I want to do that when we're there. There's so much to do, and there's one thing that's good to remember is that you can't do everything. And you're going to drive yourself nuts if you try to do everything. You're going to drive your family nuts. No one's going to have fun. So I highly recommend, and I've mentioned this before, that you make a priority list. And this goes for food too. Make a priority list of food, because you're not going to be able to eat all the food that you want. You're not going to be able to ride all the rides that are there unless you have a really, really long time. But the idea is to make a list and prioritize it so that you do the most important things, but the not so more important things that, you know, if you don't get to them, you don't get to them. I make a food list every single time, mostly because I want to budget. I want to see exactly how much it's going to cost me. I also want to know what snacks are around that, you know, I don't want to miss, because I'm not an expert on Walt Disney World. I don't know where every single snack location is and what snack is being offered here and there, and so I watch videos to find that information, and then it's like, oh, when I find something that I see, like the croque glacé, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that properly, from Les Artisans Glace, it is an ice cream place in the French Pavilion. It's an ice cream in like a brioche bun and hot press, so it's like a mix of hot and cold together. And I was like, I saw that and I was like, oh, I want to try that. So I have to put it on my list, otherwise I'm going to forget about it. So I make this big long list. The problem is I put so many things on my list that I realize every time when I come back from the trip, I only did about 60% of my list. Because, well, maybe, you know, what I thought I would want when I made the list isn't what I want in the moment. Or maybe we're on the other side of the park and I don't feel like going and getting that item anymore. Or maybe I'm just too full from eating a previous meal. So I miss out on some of the items that I made a list of. But I have that list and I know which ones are more important for me so that I can make sure that I absolutely get those priorities. And that's the important part. Making a priority list and realizing you're not going to be able to do all of it, but at least you can get the things that you really want done. And making that priority list will help you not have such big of a disappointment, if you will, whenever you're actually here. And it's also really great planning to help out, help keep you in the Disney spirit leading up to your trip. One of you had a really awesome idea, and that was to play Guess the Wait Times with your family. What does that mean? Well, open up the Disneyland app and check wait times. That's a tip that I give here on the channel. Check the wait times leading up to your trip so that you can see the expected wait times of certain rides at different times of the day, and you can play the guessing game with your children. James absolutely loves to play this game. He does it all the time, even though we come up here all the time. He's always looking at the Disneyland app. He wants to see, oh, what's Rise at? What's Radiator Springs Racers at right now? And so I know kids absolutely love that. It's a great way to do some planning for your trip, but also just to have some fun. Oh, another thing that's really fun to do with the kids is to make a paper chain. Make a paper chain, like a countdown. I told you, I'm at 51 days. I know the countdown to go to Walt Disney World right now. And by the time you watch this, it's probably gonna be like a week even closer to that. But we make a paper chain starting at about 30 days, and then every day my kids alternate cutting off a chain, and it's fun to watch the chain get smaller and smaller until finally it's time to leave. So about 30 days, we break out the construction paper and we build that chain together. Super fun, awesome idea. Well, I think that's going to do it for us here today, talking about FOMO and the Disney blues and that sort of thing. I want to hear your thoughts and comments, though. So tell me your stories down below. I want to hear what you do. I want to, commiserate together. Whenever I went to Aulani this past year, I remember I couldn't look at anything to do with Hawaii or Aulani for like 6 months after the trip. It was just too depressing thinking about. We didn't even watch our videos after I put them on the channel, of course. We didn't even watch the videos a second time just to remember the trip until maybe like 2 months ago, because it was just like, oh, I want to go back so bad. I still want to go back so bad, but I want to hear those stories down in the comments. Let's commiserate together. Anyway, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button on your way out. Thanks for watching so much. Click this video to keep watching as always, and we will see you again next time.